Hello, nice of you to join me in Walnut here. Just a quick video breaking down the new Inazuma information from the 1.6 special program and some of my thoughts, so let's get into it.
Welcome, esteemed travelers. It is an honor to be with you today. I am Master of Inazuma Kamisato Art Tachi Jutsu, Kamisato Ayaka. Delighted to make your acquaintance.
Tachi Jutsu appears to be the sword style that Ayaka practices. A tachi is a type of Japanese sword that were common amongst samurai. The katana became more widely used as it's easier to carry, as the tachi typically has a longer blade and handle and is more curved. As a result, they're more useful on horseback. In Ayaka's voice line, she speaks about the Kamisato house is part of the Raiden Gokuden, which means 5 traditions or schools when it comes to the appreciation of the sword. So this could suggest that there are 4 other houses like Kamisato who practice their own type of sword skill.
Perhaps you have already heard prior mention of Inazuma's current state of lockdown under the Sakoku Decree. Yet despite such restrictions and tumult, word of your feats and deeds across Mondstadt and Liyue has still managed to reach the ears of the people of Inazuma.
This is the first time we've heard the name of this decree. I made a video on Sakoku during the Edo period a few months back and how it parallels with Inazuma. Sakoku means closed country. This decree will encompass all the restrictions on trade and travel. However, there is likely trade in some form, but we're yet to see who it is with. During the Edo period, Japan had a special trade relationship with the Dutch that allowed them to get outside information, so this could most likely be how the word of our exploits have reached them. I personally think Inazuma's trade partner is the Fatui, but people have suggested Fontaine as they're known for their trade.
I myself ponder by which means such outstanding travelers as yourselves will choose to travel to our nation of Inazuma. Upon your arrival, perhaps we may meet at Komori Tea House over a pot of hot tea, or even indulge ourselves in a game of Go, if you would be so inclined. It goes without saying that your presence is greatly awaited here.
This shows us that Ayaka is anticipating our arrival. She slips up later to show why this may be the case, so we'll stick a pin in it for now.
Now then, allow me to present you with a brief introduction of the islands of Inazuma before you make your official arrival. This is Watatsumi Island, an island draped in dense foliage and breathtaking colors. At the center of this island, surrounded by a canopy of mountains and waterfalls, is Sangonomiya Shrine. This island is some distance from Narukami Island, home of Inazuma City. In fact, Watatsumi Island is located at the far opposite end of the islands of Inazuma.
The name Watatsumi derives from a kami, which is a divine being in the Shinto religion. Watatsumi comes in the form of a sea dragon. The shrine situated here is stated to be surrounded by waterfalls. This could hint at them having a hydro theme and they worship a sea dragon deity. The location of this island being the opposite end to that of Inazuma City actually parallels that of the Shimabara domain, being the opposite side to Edo, the capital city in Japan during the period of Sakoku.
Given its distance, travelers will quickly notice the unique culture and customs among the residents of Watatsumi Island. However, travelers should be aware that Sangonomiya is also home to the Resistance Army, which has formed in opposition of the Vision Hunt Decree. Sometimes I can't help but fear that we... Pardon me. I will surely present you with all the details once you have arrived at Inazuma.
Ayaka here hardly suggests he is involved with the resistance, but she seems to have some doubts about what they are doing. In my Sakoku video, I spoke about the Shimabara rebellion, where Christians and Ronin went against the daimyo of the Shimabara domain in revolt to the restrictions to their faith. This resistance could mirror this, as visions could be a representation for the Christian faith. What isn't clear is the scale of this resistance, and if there is currently a conflict. Ayaka's brother is said to be the Shabugyo. This is a shrine commissioner or governor. This role was assigned to daimyo during the Edo period. Daimyo were essentially landholding warlords with their own military, so this resistance could be led by Ayato. This wouldn't entirely align with the Shimabara rebellion though, where the Christians and the Ronin were going against the daimyo himself, whereas this idea would mean the daimyo would be involved in the resistance. If Ayato is involved, it would make more sense for him not to be public about being part of it. In Ayaka's voice line, she asks us to tell her brother to look after himself if we are to come across him in our travels. Her trepidation with the resistance and her brother could well be linked, and maybe she's worried because her brother is going against the shogunate.
Next, we have Seirai Island. It is said that this island was once subject to a terrible disaster. The center of the island was enveloped by a perpetual thunderstorm, which formed the island's unique geography and landscape you see now.
Seirai means ghost or spirit. I wonder if this island has something to do with a past conflict, similar to the islands formed by Morax's stone spears during the Archon War.
And this is Tsurumi Island, a mysterious island that has been shrouded by a dense fog. It has been many years since anyone has dared to venture to this island. Inazuma is home to many majestic sights to see, many of which are hidden away in more secluded locations. Take this huge tree growing among the mountains, for example. Though its trunk has been completely hollowed out, peculiar leaves shaped like bird feathers still grow from its lofty branches. And here we have one of Inazuma's more gloomy areas, where the plants take a seemingly unnatural form, almost as if sealing away some twisted thing.
I'm liking how mystical a lot of these places are looking, far more than anything we've seen so far. Hopefully there'll be a reason behind these strange occurrences in nature, and we'll get to discover them for ourselves.
And finally, our last stop is Inazuma's largest shrine, the Grand Narukami Shrine. The Grand Narukami Shrine sits atop Mount Yogo on Narukami Island, overlooking lush and vibrant blossoms of Thunder Sakura, just as the Shogun's everlasting reign looks upon us.
Its location is on Narukami Island, which is the same place where Inazuma City and the Shogunate is located. Narukami is in fact one of the many names for Raijin, the thunder god from Shinto religion, so this shrine seems to be dedicated to the Raiden Shogun herself. I would speculate that the shrine is most likely where Yae Sakura is situated. She is often referred to as Guji Yae, which means high priest or chief priest. This is most likely a reference to the great shrine maiden from Ayaka's voice lines. From the concept art you can see sakura trees, and one in the form of a fox. Yae Sakura is known for her ties to the fox, and I have speculated in the past that the Mask of the Retracing Bolide set is in fact a reference to her. It states that the foxes had fled to the forest under the suppression of the shogun, so it's interesting that this shrine is atop a mountain amongst a forest of sakura trees. It'll be interesting to see if Yae has any ties to the rebellion, as she has worked with Ayaka when it comes to the shrine festivities. But as stated earlier, this shrine will be the opposite side of Inazuma to the Saganomiya shrine, where the resistance is based.
So, travelers, have any of the islands piqued your interest? Though this was a most hasty introduction, I assure you that you will be able to enjoy these sights at your own leisure once you have arrived. If only there could be someone capable of turning the state of affairs in Inazuma. How improper of me. Travelers, I shall be awaiting the day we can meet face to face in Inazuma City with great anticipation.
It appears Ayaka does have some worries when it comes to the state of Inazuma, where I was under the assumption she was wrapped up in culture and not all that worried. This could suggest I was wrong about the drifting bottles, and she may well have been the one sending them. However, she doesn't mention the restaurant cited in those notes. Instead, she mentions the Komori tea house instead. I'd say the verdict is still out on this one. She seems too young, and we're probably looking at somebody older, but old friends doesn't really suggest how far back they go. I also think that Watatsumi Island could be the trade hub for Inazuma, because it shares qualities with the Shimabara domain. During the Edo period, Nagasaki was where trade was conducted, and this is right next to Shimabara. Fontaine being their trade partners would also be very interesting to see, considering their element is hydro, and the hints towards Watatsumi having a sea dragon as their deity would all tie in nicely. Obviously this is all speculation purely from names and possible parallels, so take it with a pinch of salt. To finish up, let's look at the stuff from the trailer relating to Kazuha.
When the vision bearer dies, the light in their vision will fade away.
So this establishes that Vision's energy dissipate upon the bearer's death. I'm curious where this energy goes. We know that Raiden Shogun is seizing Visions too, so surely it's in her best interest to not kill Vision holders, given the situation where she's using the Visions for something, but we'll come back to this. Kazuha is stated to be a Ronin, that is a masterless samurai. It'll be interesting to see if he's involved with the resistance as well.
In the outset, supposing each of the 7 Archons had their criteria for granting visions to living beings, then does the current Electro Archon now doubt these criteria, or even the act in and of itself? There will come a day when I too shall wish to understand the answers to eternity from her. The voyage to Inazuma is a treacherous one. You will be plagued by a perpetual tempest the entire trip. The part of your journey that lies after the storm may well prove to be the most arduous.
These lines point to a few theories I've had. First of all is the mention of a perpetual tempest. I suggested, like Decarabian, Baal could be creating storms around Inazuma to prevent people leaving or getting in. I also had the theory that Baal is in fact going against Celestia through the act of seizing visions. Kazuha thinks there's a possibility she is opposing the very act. This could be seen as defying Celestia. He also insinuates that each Archon has their own criteria for granting visions, maybe suggesting each Archon gives them for different reasons. So alternatively, she may not be defying Celestia, but instead has doubts in her own criteria for bestowing visions. However, it does appear she is seizing all visions, not just those she bestows. I did cross-examine how Electro Vision holders obtain their visions, but I don't really see any common theme or pattern. Hopefully this next Archon quest we're going to get a better understanding of visions. But if you ask me, I think we're going to once again end up with more questions than answers. Let me know what you guys think, and if you're looking forward to 1.6. I'm most excited about the boat, giving me serious Wind Waker vibes. Play Spyman the Third and Hatsune Miku out.